Well, as you saw in that initial clip, this video will include Hunter Biden, and you're going to be blown back by what's going on and what President Trump has done that severely punishes Hunter Biden in a way that nobody saw coming. We also won't get into some of the most breaking news, which is that President Trump has stripped Joe Biden of all security briefings and of his security clearances. Now, this comes on the heels of everything that's going on with all of these activist judges doing everything they can to block President Trump at every turn, and some of these other radical people that are out in the media, and some of these quote unquote self-proclaimed activists that are out here filing lawsuit after lawsuit and doing everything they can to make it hard for President Trump to help and keep his promises to the American people. And one of the main ways that they're able to do that is by having these security clearances and briefings. They have access to certain pieces of information that they can use against President Trump and against the administration, making it that much harder for him to be able to keep his promise to us. And what good is it going to do them anyway with all of the history that they have? Remember, it was the security clearances of those 51 intelligence officers that gave them credibility, where the media believed them when they said the Hunter Biden laptop was fake. Okay. And there's other ones like a gentleman named Norman Eisen. I don't even know why he has the security clearances, but he's this radical attorney out here that is suing President Trump at every turn. And President Trump said he's never met the man. Now, the reason why this is newsworthy is because with President Trump stripping Joe Biden of his clearance, the mainstream, or should I say the lamestream media, is going crazy. So in this video, I'm going to show you clips of Republicans bringing it to the mainstream media, or should I say the lamestream media, helping them remember exactly what they did and putting them in their place. I'm also going to show you these wacky stories of what's going on with Hunter Biden. So just buckle up, rock with me, and we're going to get into this. So now right here, the Blaze put this out. President Trump's quote, "We terminated the security clearance of Joe Biden. He was essentially found guilty, but they said he was incompetent. I think I would have rather been found guilty than what they found him with. They said he didn't know what the hell he was doing." Remember, when Joe Biden got busted with the classified documents case, he was found guilty, but the reason why he would not be prosecuted is because the special prosecutor said that his mind was gone and that no jury would convict him because he was just like a senile old man. But we'll listen to what President Trump has to say about it. Check this clip out.
Is unbelievable. We also terminated the clearances of the Biden crime family and Joe Biden himself. He didn't deserve it. In fact, he was essentially found guilty, but they said he was incompetent, and therefore let's not find him guilty, I guess. Nobody knows what that ruling was, but I didn't want any part of it. I think I would have rather been found guilty than what they found with him. They said he didn't know what the hell he was doing, and therefore he's let him go. I said, you know, I'd rather be convicted, Pam. I think that was not, I said, please convict me. Don't say that.
Now, as you heard the president, he's got some good humor about it, but they said that Joe Biden was incompetent and unable to stand trial. At the same time, while President Trump had his home raided in Mar-a-Lago, they freaking fraudulently spread stuff out, took pictures saying that he had stuff all over the place, when in reality it was locked up with 24-hour security in an extremely secure location. And it is extremely secure location, as in Mar-a-Lago, which is heavily secured because it's a museum. It's like a landmark. So it wasn't just sitting out in some garage like Joe Biden had. Joe Biden had boxes literally in an unlocked garage where he kept his Corvette. But here's the real kicker, the true caveat of the entire situation. President Trump, under the Presidential Records Act, he can declassify anything he wants. Doesn't even have to be in writing. It could be verbal. And under the Presidential Records Act, he can do that. Joe Biden had documentation dating back to his days as a beginning senator, as a vice president, prior to even becoming president. So how did a senator and a VP get access to classified documents that they have in their home when they don't have the level of clearance to be able to do that? So Joe Biden was actually stealing information out of secured SCIFs. And what a SCIF is an area where they take a member of the Senate or Congress or somebody to review a classified document that cannot leave the facility. It's a secure room where they make sure you don't have anything on you. You can only look at it. No taking pictures. No, none of that. So how did Joe Biden get things out of a SCIF? Who knows? But Joe Biden isn't the only one that had his security clearance stripped. Here's the list of the people We got Tony Blinken, Kamala Harris, Jacob Sullivan, who's the national security advisor. You got Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton. Why does she need the security clearance? She was the first lady and secretary of state, and we know what type of BS she be on. Elizabeth Cheney, we know who Liz Cheney is, the rhino out of Wyoming who got voted out, and also is Dick Cheney's daughter, the warmongering Dick Cheney who got us into the Iraq debacle. You got Liz Monaco, Alvin Bragg, you know, the corrupt DA out of the corrupt prosecutor out of New York who bought that BS a falsified ledger case that was a misdemeanor that they turned into a felony on President Trump. While you got illegals there killing people, you got folks pushing people on the subway. Alvin Bragg thought it was in the best interest of New York State to go after somebody who had never committed a crime in their life, had paid hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes to the state, and was a former president. That's who he felt would require far more attention. That's why New York is flipping red and going to you know what in the handbasket. We've got Mark Zaid, Norman Eisen, or who is that crazy deranged individual who I was just talking about. Is Norm's picture on there? No, I don't see it. I was going to show. Yes, he is. In the top row to the far right, that's Norm Eisen, this gentleman that I'm rubbing the mouse over with the glasses. He's an insane nutbag. We got Letitia James. We know who she is. Andrew Weissman. We got Adam Kissinger, who is right here in this first picture, who is the rhino backstabbing, quote unquote, Republican, who was one of the two members of the Republican Party who Nancy Pelosi handpicked to be on the January 6th committee, and they coincidentally hate Donald Trump. Yeah, those are real conservatives. We got Fiona Hill and Alexander Vindman. Now, in this next clip, everybody's talking about how immature it is and whatnot for President Trump to strip Joe Biden of his security clearance. But what they forget about is that what's good for the goose is good for the gander. President Trump didn't start this, and as a matter of fact, during his first term, he never stripped anybody of anything. But do you remember in 2021, February of 2021, when Joe Biden stripped President Trump of his security clearance? And it seems like the lamestream media is doing everything they can to forget it. As a matter of fact, it was extremely challenging to even find this clip. It's like they're trying to scrub the internet of history. But check out what happened when Joe Biden had the opportunity to play civilly or to do his little taking advantage of his power and using lawfare against President Trump. Check this clip out.
Should former President Trump still receive intelligence briefings?
I think not.
Why not?
Because of his erratic behavior unrelated to the insurrection.
I mean, you've called him an existential threat. You've called him dangerous. You've called him reckless.
Yeah, I have, and I believe it.
What's your worst fear if he continues to get these intelligence briefings?
I'd rather not speculate out loud. I just think that there is no need for him to have that intelligence briefing. What value is giving him an intelligence briefing? What impact does he have at all other than the fact he might slip and say something?
If you're enjoying this video and you liking the content, do me a solid. Hit that like button, because I'll never ask you for a cash out and I will never ask you for a super chat. But you hitting that like button, that is currency. It helps spread the video around. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. On this channel, the Real Politics Podcast, that's what we do. We talk real politics. So once you subscribe, hit the notification bell and select all. That way, you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Now, isn't that the pot calling the kettle a skillet? And if you don't know, I say that on purpose, which means it makes absolutely no sense. Just like the phrase I just said, pot calling the kettle a skillet makes no sense. The reason why I say that is because it's insane, the deflection from Joe Biden when he's the one that's senile, when he's the one that gave information to a ghostwriter who was helping him write a book, gave him access to classified information for the $8 million payment that he received when they were doing the book. But that's not it. Right now, you've got the lamestream media doing what they can on Joe Biden's behalf, acting like this is just something that's never been seen before. And how childish this is that President Trump is doing this. They're literally calling him childish. They're literally saying he's being vindictive. They're saying there's no precedent for this. As a matter of fact, check out this CNN clip on one of the worst shows on television, Abby Phillips' show, which is where she might as well just admit that she's a left-wing Democrat libtard extremist, because every time on her show, they've got 4, 5, or 6 Democrats going up against one Republican who takes it to them all if they ever get a chance to get a word in. And then all she does, as opposed to being a neutral host, she is always sticking a thorn in the side of the Republican, jockeying for the Democrats. Check this clip out.
So, Tiffany, I wonder how you see this. I mean, what is the point of rescinding these clearances for people who, frankly, there's no reason to do this at all.
Well, they're not relevant in our American political system going forward. And, Joe Biden should have his security clearance revoked with his mental status.
What mental status?
Our former president, Joe Biden, who couldn't string a sentence together, who clearly showed signs.
That's a bad faith argument.
Yeah,
that is not a bad faith argument.
I want to listen.
And not only that, you want to talk about chaos, the failed
Tiffany,
departure in Afghanistan, where we saw people hanging on American airplanes.
There's no shortage of chaos.
I will concede that Joe Biden's,
he should not have a security clearance.
Joe Biden's fitness to hold the office was in question.
Absolutely.
But I think you would also,
and that questions then his security clearance.
Also concede that you actually don't know if there is, what did you say, mental decline or anything like that? You don't know what that is, or if there is any at all. He's an older man. The American people
and he should have a security clearance.
That woman is insane. Do you see how now you don't have any evidence of this? The evidence we have is our own two eyes. We watched the man falling down. We watched him call Zelensky Putin. I watched him refer to Kamala Harris as the president. I've watched him fall down on a stage with nobody around him, fall on a bike and skin himself all up, trip up flights of stairs 3 times on the same ascension. And so you got people like this left-wing extreme libtard activist, Abby Phillips. I'm like, well, yeah, maybe his right to lead, but we don't know if he has any mental issues. What are you talking about? We saw during the debate, he could not put together a coherent phrase to save his life, or should I say, to save his political life, because that night, his political life died as a result of his inability to maintain mental focus like he needed to keep the American people comfortable and confident that he was capable of doing what they felt he should do. Now, in this next clip, what we're going to get off into, and then I'm going to get into the Hunter Biden stuff, because I know that's what you're here for. But before I do that, real quick, what I want to do, I want to get off into Scott Jennings, who is the saving grace. And the only reason I think why CNN even has people that watches consistently is to watch Scott Jennings take it to him every chance that he gets. Now, on this clip, the CNN host is going to try to goat Scott. She's going to try to get him to kind of back off and say that what President Trump is doing is some bad thing and how he shouldn't do this to Joe Biden. But watch how Scott Jennings takes it to him. Check this clip out.
When it comes to the Bidens, given the family's long history of influence peddling and dealings with shady people overseas, I think cutting them off from national security information is frankly a pretty good idea. That's number one. Number two, some of these people and their affiliates and the people they're associated with at the upper reaches of the Democratic Party have proven time and again that they are willing to abuse their adjacency to national security information for political purposes. We all remember the 51 intelligence people who signed the Hunter Biden laptop letter, for instance. And so I think what Donald Trump is doing is sending a strong message. No longer are people like this who float in and out of government going to be able to abuse their national security access for political purposes. And let me just tell you something. What goes around comes around, because as David just said, they cut off Donald Trump in 2021. You want to play the game? Now you got to play it when you're on the other side of the field.
Is there
Exactly. And see, that's the thing about the Democrats. The Democrats are so insane. You ever notice they do things? They tried to lock the man up. They threw every single piece of lawfare they could at him, at his family, at the people that worked around him, even people that was trying to help him out when they did a full court press on him with the 4 different court cases, forcing them to give up $500 million. They tried to bankrupt and imprison this man, but yet he beasted through it all and made it to the other side. And now that he's in the White House, you notice they're like, oh, why? Why are you being childish? Look at him being childish, trying to get back. And you notice before he even got inaugurated there, they were already setting the stage. So if he comes against or goes after any of those who are really doing corrupt things, they were setting the stage as if the only reason he would come after them is not because they're actually committing crimes, it's because it's lawfare. He's just trying to get payback because he was such a bad person and they were trying to, hold him accountable. But they've done nothing. He's just coming after them. That's the only reason, which is BS. The Democrats actually expect to be able to slap the Republicans in the face. And then if the Republicans draw back like they're about to do it back, they freak out and go crazy and start whining and crying. But the biggest issue is that the Republican Party does not sock back hard enough. We do all of these hearings and all of this show pony stuff. Nobody goes to jail. Nobody's held accountable. But when the Democrats have the ball and they're in power, man, they're sending people to jail. They're kicking people out of Congress, out of the Senate. They tried to get Marjorie Taylor Greene thrown out for posts that she made before she was even an elected official. They actually were, Nancy Pelosi actually booted her off of every committee from an old tweet years before she was even in the office. So don't start this crap about President Trump being childish. The childish ones are the Democrat Party, who believe that they can hit people and disrespect and do things and nothing's going to happen back to them. But now let's get into the main reason why I even did this video. Check this out. In case you didn't know, since President Trump's inauguration, Hunter Biden had been receiving Secret Service protection. Not just Hunter Biden, him and his sister, which I don't know if you know this or not, but Secret Service protection is for the former president, not for the children and the family members of the former presidents, not using the taxpayer dollars to defend a felon who violated federal law, was busted laundering money, and was acting as a fake foreign agent on behalf of his father when he was the VP. But President Trump became aware of this situation. Check out what he had to say about it when he found out that Hunter Biden had the protection. Here's what he said in the post on Truth Social. Hunter Biden has had Secret Service protection for an extended period of time, all paid for by the United States taxpayer. There are as many as 18 people on this detail, which is ridiculous. He is currently vacationing in, of all places, South Africa, where the human rights of people has been strenuously questioned. Because of this, South Africa has been taken off our list of countries receiving economic and financial assistance. Please be advised that effective immediately, Hunter Biden will no longer receive Secret Service protection. Likewise, Ashley Biden, who has 13 agents, will be taken off the list. Between the two, 31 of our Secret Service agents are protecting Joe Biden's children, Hunter Biden and Ashley Biden. But let's check out what President Trump had to say about it.
There were 18 Secret Service agents protecting Hunter Biden in South Africa this weekend. Who's paying for that? And do you plan to revoke the Secret Service protection?
Well, we have done that with many. I would say if there are 18 with Hunter Biden, that will be something I'll look at this afternoon. Okay?
Sure.
I just heard about it for the first time. So you have 18 Secret Service going. Where is he exactly?
In South Africa.
In South Africa. And South Africa, you know, is on a watch list. You know that. Because what they're doing to people is brutal. And I've stopped having money go to South Africa. You know that. Billions of dollars. So he's in South Africa. That's very interesting. All right.
Now, the reports of him being in South Africa actually were broken by Laura Loomer, who is a right-wing commentator, influencer, whatever you want to call her. But Laura Loomer has a really close relationship with President Trump, and the left have smeared her and called her a racist and all types of other stuff. I'll call her a patriot. But here's what she had to say. It's been 72 hours since President Trump directed the U.S. Secret Service to immediately end all protection for Hunter Biden and Ashley Biden. Melissa Cohen, Hunter Biden's wife, has been throwing a hissy fit over their Secret Service being pulled and has been asking Secret Service to provide her and Hunter with an armored vehicle since their Secret Service has been ordered to be pulled. Meanwhile, Hunter and Melissa have failed to provide the Secret Service with a single threat against their life since they have been in South Africa. In case you don't know, in South Africa right now, you've got the black rebels who have taken over the country, the countryside, parts of the country, and they are murdering white farmers. They literally have a highway where there's crosses symbolizing all of the people whose lives have been lost, and it goes for miles. So they are literally committing genocide in South Africa right now. So that's a funny place for Hunter Biden to decide that he wants to go and hide out. Also, though, is that right now what they did, they took, even though Trump canceled Secret Service, they say that they put the State Department on them right now. Anthony Guglielmi, the liberal spokesperson for Secret Service Spox for the Secret Service, should be fired. He lied about Butler, Pennsylvania. Now he's lying about complying with President Trump's order to end Hunter Biden's Secret Service. So it means that they were still protecting him. And Laura Loomer has got pictures of Hunter Biden in South Africa right here. There's Hunter with his Secret Service detail. There's Hunter walking across the street, and they say that they're shopping in high-end department stores. And now, this is the craziest thing that I'd seen. Let me see if I can zoom this in. And what this is Hunter Biden's request to California to drop the case against him. Here's what it says. I'll read it for you because it may be hard to see. This significant decrease in revenue has also impacted my ability to pay off my significant debt, which has been reported in the press as being several $1 million. As a result of this, I am not in a position where I can borrow money. In addition to this significant decrease in income and my debt, my lack of financial resources has been exacerbated by the fires in the Pacific Palisades in early January, which has rendered my rental house unlivable for an extended period of time. And like many others in that situation, I am having difficulty in finding a new permanent place to live. Ultimately, this dismissal is necessary so I can focus my time and resources dealing with my relocation, the damage I and my family have incurred due to this litigation. Due to the Pacific Palisades fire and paying for my family's living expenses as opposed to this litigation. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct, executed on this 4th day of March, 2025, Los Angeles County. So not only is he using Secret Service over in Cape Town, South Africa, he's also asking for his case to be dismissed because he says he's financially destitute while over in South Africa shopping in high-end stores, living it up in $500 and $600 a night villas with his wife and having a good old time. And isn't this the same Hunter Biden that also lied under the threat of perjury on his gun application when he also said that he wasn't a drug user? Isn't this also the same Hunter Biden who lied under the risk of perjury on his federal income taxes, that he failed to claim millions of dollars in income that he received in payments from all of these foreign countries and bad actors? Yeah, this is that same Hunter Biden. So now we're expected to believe that Hunter Biden is really destitute while living it up over in South Africa. Okay, and one thing I want to leave you with before we get out of here, I found a clip of President Trump back in the 80s. And if nothing else gives you confidence that you made the right choice, that we got the right person in the seat, is to pay attention to how consistent somebody is. Now, we know Joe Biden back in the day was plagiarizing his speeches, lying about getting arrested with Nelson Mandela, lying about fighting his civil rights, was against gay marriage, and all of a sudden was the biggest transgender supporter in the world, was against school busing, and now was trying to act like a modern day white version of Martin Luther King, wanting integration. But President Trump has been consistent. I'm going to be putting something out really soon, just kind of going over the timeline of President Trump and the things that he said then and what he's actually doing now, and just how dynamic it is to see somebody walk it like they talk it. But if you've watched up to this point, I really appreciate you for sticking in here with me. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, remember to like the video, share the video, leave a comment, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. But other than that, I'm Brian Maxwell. Again, I appreciate you for hanging out with me and watching, and I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.